What's up, YouTube? This is Akito Doetzel here. Sorry for the lack of video uploads these last few days. I had 2 exams this week, so I had to prepare for those, that's important. Today I'm bringing you a deck profile of my Dark World deck. So let's get right to it. Turbos. Okay, for the monsters, we're playing 3 Grapha, Dragon Lord of Dark World. This is the main boss monster of the deck. He gets 3,000 attack under the field spell, and when he's discarded to the graveyard, you can pop one of your opponent's cards. And when you control a dark monster on your side of the field, you can return it to your hand and special summon it from the graveyard. So he's a big beat stick, and he has a consistent way of bringing himself back, so he's pretty good. Gotta use him at 3 in Dark World's staple. Same, this guy's staple too. Snow, you can search out any Dark World card, so that goes beyond monsters. You can search out the field spell or Dark World dealings. He has 2,000 attack under the field spell, so he's good. Staple again, you gotta run at 3. You have to run this guy at 3/2 Brow. He's your monster draw power. When he's discarded, you can draw a card. If you use him with Dark World dealings, it's like Pot of Greed, and who doesn't love Pot of Greed? Okay. To round up the Dark World monsters, we're playing 2 Beige. Some people like to use Silva. I prefer Beige. Some people run 1 Beige. I like 2 because I like to make exceeds, and I also like to abuse Grapha, and this guy does that very well because you can normal summon him, and you can special summon him when he's discarded to the graveyard. So, if you have 2 Grapha in the grave, and you have this in your hand, you can normal summon it, bounce it, bring out the Grapha, discard it somehow, special summon it, bring out the other Grapha. And from there you can do whatever you want. You can make the Heliopolis, or if you have 3 Grapha, you can make Neo Galaxy Eyes, or you can just attack. Like, why not? It's Dark Worlds, they beat down a lot. 2 Tour Guides. They can search out Brow, they can search out each other, they make Levier, and Levier is very important because you can get back your banished monsters, so that's really good. And for my tech card, I won 1 Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. This card, some people use Malefic Stardust Dragon instead. I like this guy. I think he's kind of neat, because if you control the field spell and use its effect, and this guy's in your grave, you can bounce a field spell back to your hand and special summon him. So that makes for easy exceeds, and makes for easy reuse of the field spell, because then you can just play it again. And he's a decent beat stick. I like him. Keep in mind, you can only use this effect once per duel, so you have to be very careful when you're going to use it, because you don't want to waste it. Okay, that's all the monsters. Next up for spells, we're running 3 Gates of Dark World. This card is a consistency in the deck. All Fiend type monsters gain 300 attack and defense. And once per turn, you can banish a Fiend from your graveyard, discard a Fiend, then draw a card. Now this is what you would use Zephyros with. He's good. Sorry, it's good. It's just, it's probably one of the best, like, archetype specific field spells. I mean, Necro Valley is pretty good. This is just amazing in Dark Worlds. It's good in Fableds too, if any of you play that deck, but it's just great. You have to run at 3 at staple. Dark World dealings. Draw a card, then discard a card. Each player has to do that. This card, it's good, except in the mirror match. In the mirror match, it's the worst ever, because now you're letting your opponent discard their Dark World cards, and if you know anything about Dark Worlds, all of them have secondary effects which activate when they're discarded by opponent's card effect, and they make them much, much better. So this is awful in the mirror match. Yeah. 3, drag down into the grave. This is amazing against Rabbit and stuff, look at your opponent's hand and discard a card, and they look at your hand and discard a card. People, please don't use this when you have, like, Tour Guide or something in your hand. Only use it when you have a handful of Dark World monsters. I mean, that should be, like, instinct, but I see people use this when they have, like, spells and traps in their hand all the time. It's the weirdest thing. I don't understand it, but if you play this right, and you get rid of their Rescue Rabbit or their Tour Guide, and you get to pitch your Grapha, then it's good. It's one of the best cards in the deck, for sure, for sure. 1 card destruction, because if one time on the first turn I drew that and 5 Dark Gold monsters, which doesn't happen very often, mind you, but it does happen once in a while. And I just used that, and I won, because that's how good this card is. Some people are calling for this to be banned in the March 2013 ban list. I don't think Konami's going to hit it, because Dark Worlds really haven't been causing that much of a stir lately. I mean, I would rather see them hit Wind-Ups and Mermail Atlanteans before this. BLS first. BLS needs to be banned, but you know how it is. You guys all know how it is. 2 Upstart Goblins. Some people run 3. I like 2 just because sometimes you can use it and you draw a bad card and your opponent gets 1,000 life points for no reason. So I like to stick to the Allure more than Upstart Goblin. Okay, and then Allure. You know, you banish a dark, you draw 2 cards, so it's not good about it. Sorry, just about Upstart Goblin some more. Don't use this just so you can draw a card. Save it for when you need to draw a card, right? Don't just, if you draw it, like, and you can do something, don't use it right then, because you might need to use it in the later turns, right? So just be careful with that. This deck takes a lot of skill to play, in my opinion. I mean, anyone can play it, and people say, like, oh, it's a self-directed deck, but I think that you need to think turns ahead to use this deck properly. Like, you don't go using Reckless Greed just because you can. You get punished for that. You need to save it until you can use it to its most potential. So that's important. Okay, for the 1-ofs, we have 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Monster Born, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Heavy Storm. Okay, some people don't play Heavy or Dark Hole, mind you. But I like those 2 because you do lose advantage sometimes. Like, if you can't establish your Graphas and your field presence right away, then you're going to start getting run over really quick by most things, right? Like Dino Rabbit, even like this, Dino Rabbit is supposed to be this deck's worst matchup. Like, this deck is supposed to beat Dino Rabbit, but sometimes it doesn't. Like, if you can't draw your field spell, if you can't draw your Grapha, if you can't draw your Snow, then you aren't going to be doing much, and they're going to be just summoning stuff like Sabersaurus and just starting attacking into you, and that's no good. So you gotta run these. Don't not run Heavy Storm and Dark Hole because you say, oh, I always have field presence. No, you need to run them. They're important cards. Okay, that's all the spells. Next for the traps. 2 viruses. Eradicator and Deck Devi. Okay. Yeah. I don't really like Eradicator, but it's important to run it because Grapha, you can use it really effectively with Grapha, and it gets rid of spells and traps, and that's good because you don't want to get all of your Graphas trenchelled or bottom list. So that's why you gotta run this. I don't really like it, but you need to. It's a necessary evil in the deck. Deck Devi is just amazing because you can use it with Snow, and it just gets rid of everything that has less than 1,500 attack. So, Tour Guide, like Rescue Rabbit, all those smaller but good cards get destroyed by that. It's really good. 2 Mind Crush, because you see your opponent's hand quite a bit with Drag Down, or if you just want the discard, just call something completely random and discard a Dark World monster, because that's good. 1 Compulse, because sometimes you need to get over stuff like Zenbanes, so why not? 3 Reckless Greed. Okay. You have to be careful when you use this card. Like I said before, don't use it just so you can draw. Use it because you need to draw, and make sure you have other ways that you're going to be able to draw in the next turns, because if you just flip all these and you have no Upstart Goblin or anything, not being able to draw for 2 turns hurts. So you need to have plans of what you're going to do so you don't get punished by that too much. And then for last trap, running Starlight Road, because Torrential is a thing, Heavy Storm is a thing, Dark Hole is a thing, Mirror Force is a thing, all of these. They're good, and Starlight Road is inconsistent, but I think it definitely needs to be run in this deck. Okay. Sorry, but I don't have my extra deck with me right now. It's probably up in my Yu-Gi-Oh drawer in there. when I do an update of this deck later, not like later today, but I'm gonna try and make, like, every 2 months probably, around there, I'll make a new update of my deck profile so you aren't stuck watching things from like 2 formats ago just to get ideas, because I hate that. Yeah, I'll show the extra deck, I'll go put it together, and I'll show it next time I show this deck. Same with my Nordic deck. I got my other cards, I got my Black Rose, and I got my Chronometer Crystal Chrononaut the other day from my friend, so I put those in there, so that's all done. And I have the side deck ready, so I can show you that, guys, later. It's Turbus. It's the best card ever, and thank you for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Akito Doetzel, out.